Good afternoon. Hello, hello, hello. Today is January the 18th, 2023. Trading and investing of any kind carries on risk. Everything discussed here is for entertainment purposes only and not to be taken as financial advice because I don't give advice. First off, like, subscribe, notification bell because, you want to hear the things that I say, or maybe not, but, whatever. And, share it. Tell people. So let's do a little quick update from yesterday. So we looked at this, we talked about it, and I'd mentioned I wasn't very bullish on it, but things happen. So we had some volatility as, I was kind of expecting. Had that, typical 10-point range. So, when we have volatility, lately it tends to be, 7 to 10 points, give or take. So, yeah, very beautiful day, actually. That big trend line everybody likes to talk about, including me. We tried to get through it. We tried to stay above it this time, right? It wasn't just a rip and a pull back down. We actually gave it our best college try here to try to get up here. We still pulled back down. So pulled back through, and from down here, we're only looking less than a 38% retrace, right? So it's not a real solid pullback yet. So, and I'd mentioned we're kind of getting to the end of the accumulation cycle, and we are. I mean, we're right at the end of it, which means that we are either going to, this was just kind of the last pullback before a really nice push, which is entirely possible, or it's that we get that continuation, right? We're finished with this accumulation cycle. We're going to start pulling down, and and if we happen to continue to pull down, I've kind of given some levels previously of what I'm looking for. Where are we here? Down to this trend line here. So around the 384 range, we've got signals down here right around 390, which we're not too far from. So today, let's take a little bit of a closer look of kind of what happened. Now, this is the hourly chart, right? So we're just going to look at hourly for now because it has a good story, right? So we got this push, and if you look at these candles, this one is not quite stacked on that. This one is stacked here. This one is pretty much stacked here, right? They're on top of each other. Good continuation. Had this volatility here, and then, a little bit of indecision. So then here we go, another candle that's stacked. Get up here, and we just start pulling. And I'm pretty certain this is right around one of the Fed started talking, if I recall correctly. So we pull back, and where do we slow down? Right here. Close of this day, right? That kind of was where our candle decided to close out. So it's the close from the 12th, I think, is what that is. A bit of a volatile day. So we closed out there. Couldn't hold it. We pulled back down. And when we did, we really had a bit more trouble here on the hourly. Right? And this is where we had that push and then this pullback. So just standard support and resistance. So if you were to zoom out here, let me check something else here. Okay, so if we're to zoom out here, and we just kind of look across history, I do things like this. I'll draw these zones and look at where we are. I mean, we are in an area of indecision, right? Or let's just say where decisions get made. Probably a better way to put it. We don't typically stay in this area, right? We figure out a direction and we go. But when we get to this area, I mean, once again, it just tends to be an area we can't sit in. But don't necessarily plan to sit here long. This is either going to be, we're going to sit here. This is just a temporary pullback for a rocket, or it's a temporary pullback where we're going to figure out, okay, we're just going to stay heavy and we're going to pull down. Again, nobody can predict these things. Nobody knows what the stock market's going to do. We just trade what we see. So this is kind of what I'm looking at. But for me, my thesis is the same. I'm not happy on a pullback until we get roughly at least a 38% pullback, which we're not there yet. We're not there yet from the bottom. 38 is going to be pretty much the bottom of this box, if I recall. Oh, look at me. Kind of like I've done this before. Wow. Sometimes I amaze myself. But anyway, not very often. All right. So that's what I'm looking for on the 38% pullback, or for a 38% pullback. Now, from this little move here, this retrace is roughly a 61.8, right? And you can kind of look at it and tell. Give her a little measure for good measure. Make sure I'm not full of complete, garbage here. Yeah, I mean, almost on the nose. Okay, yeah, so that's a 61.8. So, and that's where we are. I mean, that's definitely part of the reason we're stopping here. So, because this was a decent move, right? It was a solid pullback from this pull down. This was a push that gave us a solid retrace upwards. So this was that first 50% where we were from this shark pattern where we were like, okay, this is where we want to get to figure out if this is a 5-0 pattern, right? And here we go, right? We pull back. And we got what did we get on that? Roughly 38 or 50%. I can't remember what we got on that, but these things tell a bit of a story here, right? So from this bottom here, if we were to look at that, that's a 38% retrace. Yeah. And then from this move here, which is probably, if I were going to measure it where I'd measure it, was roughly 50%. So it was another 50%. So, and now here we are, we've pushed. And if we do the retrace on this, what are we looking at here? And we're still trying to get over this 1618. We just can't get over it. And that's a significant area of volatility. Like, you can look at this and tell every time we get up here to that 1618, we're coming back. Well, what does that tell me? Well, that tells me that we're potentially trying to build a pattern here, right? So we'll have to look and see if that pattern continues to pull back, if it continues to do what we need it to do. And then if it does, yay. That would be fun. I wouldn't be sad about that. And so that pattern, as I've shown before, it'll bring us, somewhere down around here. It's actually below this line. So if we have a failure point on that pattern, it'll be somewhere in this area. That doesn't mean we can't pull back and wick down. Now, we can do a couple of other measurements and kind of figure out. Actually, I think I've done those measurements, and I think that this particular pattern, this smaller pattern here, if it were to complete, it's going to complete somewhere around. I should probably take better notes on this stuff, huh? But, whatever. As Liam Lynch said. Liam Lynch? I don't remember who it was. Whatever. All right, so we would be looking at roughly 380, 383, 381. So, and let's look at what this trend line were to give us if we were to pull back down here. So we'd be looking at, so this trend line's 384, which could give us a decent little pull down to one of these support areas. And these are the things that I think about. I kind of think ahead and I process, if we pull, what's my plan? If we don't pull, what's my plan? Like, these are the things that I process when I start thinking about how I'm going to trade this. Again, I have my bias, but it doesn't mean that I won't trade it the opposite direction if it looks like it's going to take, a run in the opposite direction. As we push through this trend line this morning, I'm not going to say that I'd changed my bias. I didn't. As soon as we started pushing above that, I got in a short up here, and I was scalping shorts. I just didn't see how we were going to take a run today. It just didn't seem like it was there. We tried to before the open, we tried to after the open, and we just couldn't stay up there. So, yeah, that's kind of where my head is. I'm not going to make this video too long because it's just more of the same, right? It's just kind of confirming some of the things that I'd said before, few updates. But again, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be right. It doesn't mean that it's going to pull back like I think it's going to this, 381-ish area, or, it doesn't mean anything, right? Until we start breaking this midpoint down here around 386, doesn't really mean anything. I mean, as far as, me being right or a plan changing or however we want to look at it. So that's where I am. That's where I'm at. So as I mentioned before, got some exciting things coming up. And I'll, why not? I'll go ahead and spill the beans on this. I have decided to, just like other people in the world, build a Discord room for traders. So if you like these videos and you want to learn to trade, if you happen to maybe not like where you are as far as trading, if you don't like the answers that you're getting, or you can't find the information, hit me up. I'm definitely interested in talking about it. It will be a paid room. It's not going to be free, and it's not going to be inexpensive because my time is very valuable, but I'm absolutely interested in trying to help people, and there's other people that are, in this room that are trying to help people as well. So I don't have all of the payment stuff finished up. I will in the next couple of days. So if you're interested, let me know, and I'll be happy to send over an invite to check it out. Until then, I will see everybody next time. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens. And I'm looking forward to, just making a play on this thing. So, and I'm looking forward to seeing people in this room. So hit me up. I'll see you later.